Sports Ultras. Sports Ultras.
This is Sports Ultras, another episode upon us, and the next 1 hour, 30 minutes is everything. Sports, everything, football, and many more. My name is Thea Winyan, and I'm here with the full gang. It's Yao Fosulabi. Yao, good evening.
Good evening.
You well?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
You're not well. Then there's Aniela. Aniela,
no.
Sorry?
Martinelli.
You are called. Why are you the only one laughing? But why are you the only one laughing?
Every day you want to bully me. At least I won my game. No, try winning your first game of the season, then you can chat to me.
Well, you won against a Forest team.
Your Mudrik missed chances. Your Mudrik missed chances.
Breaking Timber. I mean, Timber marketing. Your boys will be blown. Yes, I did. Kelvin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have swum very well in the pool, but he failed to do so. So please, the bridge wasn't enough to tame. The bridge wasn't enough to tame the pool. So what was the bridge made for?
Oreku Day wedding, then he did shake.
Yeah,
no focus. He did shake.
Considering what last season was, I'll take this any day. Oreku.
Oh, we're okay.
Were you seriously shaking it at the wedding?
Oh, when Salah made
the first goal.
I give up.
So their goal was cancelled. Chilwell also had a goal cancelled.
Yeah, but I was saying that at the point that they went 2-0 up, before the goal was cancelled, I thought, oh no, again. It looked like it would become really bad with regards to the squad. But I think there was a momentum shift once the goal was disallowed, and that played into Chelsea's favour. The important thing is that still unbeaten under Pochettino through pre-season till now, and it gives you the fundamentals for you to work on a lot more. I think if you are rubbing shoulders with Liverpool at this early stage of the season, then there's room for optimism.
Okay, so we'll go deep into the Premier League opening day, considering Arsenal also played. I mean, it's that other issue.
3FM 92.7.
All right, so we'll get there and we'll find out exactly what it was and how it happened. But remember, in today's episode, we'll also be looking at the Women's World Cup because the semi-final spots have been booked, and so we'll be treating that. And also, on local soil, that is the Ghana Football Association Executive Committee elections. We'll have the reps announced to you, and then we'll also get into the details of that. And then we'll have Predictor is back. So we're predicting the next few games, and next week we'll review our predictions. And of course, go to Scoreboard, where we bring you all the results from the world of football. La Liga, Ligue 1, all started alongside the Premier League this weekend. And so we'll look at all of that. And then we'll also touch on some of the transfers, because it's been an amazing, last few days, especially if you're Liverpool or Chelsea fan. Pulsating, will be the least way to describe what's happened in the last 72 hours. Shanlo as well. I don't know who will be on the board today. I don't know if the guys have anyone, but I don't have.
You don't know. It just happened. Who? Mukalo Mudrik.
Oh, please. How can you miss a simple chance like that and be oh please. That's your Shanlo. That's not our Shanlo.
It was a simple chance.
Yeah, I mean, it was a simple
anyway,
chance.
said it.
Yeah, but that one moment alone doesn't make you the worst player.
He's shallow.
Okay. We'll start with the Women's World Cup, and we'll dedicate about 15 minutes to that. Now the semi-final spots have been booked. England will be playing against Australia, and that's on Wednesday, 10 a.m. And then Spain against Sweden will also be played on Tuesday. Actually, that will be played before the Australia-England All-Ashes game once again. So Spain-Sweden, that will be another very interesting one. That means we have 3 European nations in there alongside Australia. So let's get into the details of that, and who'll be starting that for me? Aniela, I'll start with you. Women's football. You're the only lady here.
Definitely, Theory. I felt pretty bummed out for Colombia. you could have just seen how much it would have meant to them to make it all the way. But I mean, England getting the chance to do that for the third consecutive time is also really big for them. And I mean, you step up and then you get exactly what you deserve. But on the Australia and France end of things, honestly, the penalty shootout was quite dramatic. But I think that Australia, it meant more to them. You're a co-host, and exactly, we know how sometimes hosts fare when it comes to these type of competitions. It could really go either way for you. And so for them to stake their claim in such a manner and take out big dogs like France, that's like really huge. But it's also interesting to see how a lot of these games these days have been going to penalties just because of their failure to make it in main time. And some of the penalty shootouts, you know, they are just a bit dicey. But I think that Australia got the job done, and I wish them all the best when they take on England.
3FM 92.7.
I think that they have like the host backing because they are the co-hosts.
Yeah.
Australia, I mean, I was surprised at France for what they did in that game. I mean, how do you get advantage in a penalty shootout 3 times and miss all 3? It just doesn't make sense to me. And I was surprised. Last night I was watching the game again and I felt it was incredible because France had them in the right place. They were supposed to beat them in regulation time. It didn't happen. Then they went to penalties. They had them in penalties, and then they missed the chance 3 times. And maybe this is just Australia's year. I just feel like that's what it is because
beating France the way they did.
And that's what I'm saying because on a normal day, I don't see
France win any day.
Exactly.
That's what it should
and
be.
the thing is, I mean, regardless of it being a France win, on a normal day, those 3 penalty misses shouldn't have come for France. They should have won the game. But I mean, that's how it goes. And so Australia are through to the next stage. I mean, great for them in their history and all of that. I think that they've really come a long way. And so it's good. But I think that generally the women's football has generated some really, really good games. And if only many people are watching the Women's World Cup, they will know that the gap in quality is not as huge as we used to perceive it to be. I mean, it's closing in day in and
Is
day
that
out.
because the mighties have lost the plot, or it's about the underdogs suddenly knowing what to do?
No, I just think that they are many of the ladies are doing the basics right. I mean,
3FM,
getting the ball, handling it, doing the dribble, the diagonal passes, whatever. They know how to do everything. And I think the goal Colombia scored against the game they played before England, I don't remember that game.
Let me check that for you.
But the goal they scored in
Jamaica.
Jamaica. That goal against Jamaica is potentially one of the best goals I've seen this year. Incredible control and how she planted the ball into the nets is great. And so I think that the women's football has been really, really good.
But Mudryk could learn a thing or two.
Exactly.
Yeah, he could pick up. I don't know if Oreku, if you have his contact.
Women's football.
Ask him.
So I'd like to pick off the point from Yao about the quality closing in. And I think it was once again evident if you look at the nature of the quarterfinal games that we saw. I think for all 4 games, it was marginal with regards to whoever won it. We saw Spain and Netherlands head into extra time. We saw Sweden beat Japan narrowly. And then Australia, France going on penalties, and England, Colombia also a very narrow victory. And usually these are the results that you see maybe after the semi-finals get into the final. But now we're starting to see this in a round of 16 quarterfinal where no one is really backing down. And I think it's a good advert, or it's been a good advert for women's football, specifically if you're narrowing it down to the fact that for the first time we're going to see a new winner in the World Cup. It's not going to be Norway, Japan,
3FM,
Germany, or the US.
92.7.
There was that opportunity, and you look at a country like France, who thought maybe this could be their year. They've been on a steady rise in the past few years. They would see this as a missed opportunity. But it's always difficult against a host nation. And watching that game against Australia, I realized how difficult or how maybe underrated we might have looked at the Nigerian result against Australia to be able to beat a co-host side at their own backyard when they also needed to win. And so I think basically Australia are in there in the semis, and once they are there, they are capable of winning. For a host nation, the further they go, the more confident they become, and there's always that added benefit of playing in front of your home crowd. So I look at this lineup and it's very difficult to pick who would win in the semis, in terms of who gets to the final. But I do genuinely believe that this is just a good advert for women's football. And whoever goes on to win deserves it. Perhaps is that opening that we need in women's football for us to look back at this World Cup and say this was really the turning point for women's football, where now a lot more countries start to take it more seriously and realize that there's an opening in there.
If you look at the way Sweden dispatched Japan, is that a sign of what they can do against Spain?
Well, I think that is going to be a very tough game. If you look at what the Spaniards themselves have proven at this World Cup, little was expected of them, especially when you mention women's football in Europe. You won't even think about Spain, though they have the Putellas, the other ladies who have been playing very well in the Champions League. This is not a team that would have had that promise with them coming forth with their brilliance. And you look at this Sweden team, and though they've been one of the giants or sub-giants when it comes to women's football, little or least was expected of them to pick up the pieces. And against that Japanese team, how resolute they have been. And I've always spoken about tournament football being as pragmatic as you can be. It's always going to earn you the best of results. And Sweden have proven that they are more pragmatic than all the other sides that we have seen. Spain will go all out, and you look at their game against the Netherlands, and it clearly showed you that, yes, they don't back down. They only move up looking for more goals. It's just like the Luis Aragonés side of the 2008 that managed to win that European Championship. And I think it has a similar style. If they are going to bank on that style, that I think Sweden would use that comfort in sitting back, relaxing, and taking the opportunities as and when they come to override Spain to get to the final. But yeah, for the other game, I think it's going to be really tough. Sarina Wiegman will be looking forward to winning another title. That is after winning the European Championship. A lot of promise held for her with this particular team. She had players retiring. She's had a couple of injuries, especially to a striker, Beth Mead, and then to Leah Williamson, the captain of the team. Coming into this tournament, Manchester United's Ella Toone was expected to lead the attack and at least get some goals, but unfortunately during the pre-tournament campaign, she fell off the hooks, and then Arsenal's Alessia Russo decided to take over. But even with her, she really struggled until the last game, where she managed to get the winner. But I think that is a mark of a very good tournament team. How they were startled by Nigeria, even in the game yesterday, you could see clearly that it was a very difficult one for England, but they managed to ride through and then get the needed victory over the Colombians, who had been very excellent in this campaign. I think I would be betting for an England-Sweden final.
And that definitely will be very, very interesting to see. And okay, so you've given me your predictions, because that's exactly what I was going to. Yeah. I wanted to know what you guys thought the final would look like. You again, what's your prediction?
England-Sweden final.
England-Sweden means Spain is knocked out. Oriku, do you share with that?
No, I thought when Sweden did it against the United States, I was like, they've done well, but you cannot knock out two former champions in a row like that. And they've gone on to beat Japan. So now I'm a bit skeptical, because I thought that would be their last stop. That's the quarterfinal stage. But they have experience on their side, and they definitely have momentum going against this Spain team, who maybe in women's football are not really familiar with this territory. First time in the semi-final. So I would tip Sweden. I think they are the most experienced, maybe alongside England, the most experienced teams left in the competition. And so I would tip England. And then for Australia, they came so close to the semi-finals, I think about 2 or 3 times. But this time around, they're in the semis and they're home. So it will be a very difficult game for England.
3FM 92.7.
So probably a Sweden-England final for me. And then eventually, I think England managed to win it.
Yeah. Before I come to Aniela, predictions: Australia, England, Spain, Sweden.
I just feel like Spain would be that they would play really well.
For some reason, I agree. I don't know why. I think Spain.
I think Spain will edge it. The thing about Sweden is that fine, they have the momentum and everything, but like Oriku was saying, you beat one giant, then you beat another. Maybe at some points, it's just time for the breaks to stop you. and so maybe Spain will just nick it. But I think that the Australia-England game, England will have enough to beat Australia. So it should be an England-Spain final for me. And if it's England-Spain in the final, I don't know, but Spain could also win it, which I really, really hate. But I mean, I'm just hoping that it doesn't happen. But England-Spain should be the final for me.
Aniela?
I do agree that Spain may play good, but I think that I fancy Sweden getting into the final. But the only issue for me is Australia-England. Terry, I just think that if England don't manage to win the game in regular time, I think Australia would have the upper hand should it go to penalties again. I think that being co-host, there's this sort of momentum that's going with them. So I think that they may just, I don't know, I think it's going to be a Sweden-Australia final.
Sweden-Australia.
3FM 92.7.
Kelvin?
I've already given you my indication, so I think.
Why not to hear from us an Arsenal fan again? You just, when you win your games.
Yeah, Sweden and England.
Sweden and England. You listen to Aniela and you have a feeling, or you get the feeling that maybe Arsenal beats Man City or Liverpool or something, or they even beat Chelsea. Nottingham Forest. One game, 37 more to go. Slow down. Yeah, last season, is it not interesting, Riku? That last season, these guys had about 5 games to seal the title and they bottled it. And there's 37 more games to play. And already, Aniela is so loud.
Yesterday is gone.
Langabella. Before I move away from women's football, this one from my producer Frank. He says that there would be a first-time winner. Australia's Mackenzie Arnold taking the penalty kick meant she's the only goalkeeper, both male and female, to take a penalty kick in a World Cup tournament. France have also gone out in the run of 8 stage for the 4th consecutive tournament. That's 2011, 2015, 2019, and then 2023. And then also says that England also progressed to the semis in back-to-back tournaments in 2019, 2023. Sweden's goalkeeper Musovic had not conceded a goal in 300 minutes before Japan gained.
92.7.
Some very interesting stats there. And this World Cup has also recorded the most ever goals in a World Cup, for women tournament. That's 160. So 160 goals have been scored in this particular one. Very interesting stats there. Frank, thank you very much. But Sam Kerr is back for Australia, and that could be the danger point for Australia against an England team that she knows very well. Again, considering that that's where she lives, and makes her money. We move on from there, and today we are right on time. Charlie, for 2 weeks now, Charlie, we are staying on time. I like that. Now we move on straight to the GFA elections. The executive committee, nominations, were opened up for, the elections. And so the deadline was on Friday, August 11. And of course, all forms had to be taken and, of course, filed by, prospective candidates. Kelvin Oswansa, please walk us through.
Well, Terry, I think with the one coming up on the 27th, that is where the GFA presidency,
the 27th September,
yes, as well as the executive council will be decided. For the GFA presidency, just 2 people, the 2 guys who competed or led the race during the last elections. The current president of the GFA, that is Kurt Edwin Simeon Okraku,
3FM,
the one in there, and as well as
92.7.
George Kwesi Afriyie has also filed his nomination to be elected on the 27th of September at the Radish Hotel in Tamale. But you look at the executive council elections, just 5 slots for that is the Premier League. And then if you look at those who have filed it, as Kingsley Osebun, so that is from Bichim United, Nana Safo Drew Safo Brekum Chelsea, Edmond Aka, yes, Yafusulabi's a very good friend, FC Samatex, Dr. Randy Abe, Heart of Lions, Frederick Echampo, in the last elections, he went on the ticket of Ashanti-Go. This time around, he's going on the ticket of Dreams FC. And there is Kwabna Asenso from Legon Cities. Yes, Asenso. Kwesi Apia, former Black Stars coach and Asante Kotoko legend, currently the sporting director for the Porcupines. He's going on the ticket of Asante Kotoko. Alaji Akambi, Accra Heart to Folk. He's also part of the Heart to Folk management. And then there is Raphael Jambra and Swatraman FC. He's going on the ticket of Swatraman. And Eloy Amande, our own Eloy Amande from Karela United Football Club. And then Dr. Tony Oben is from Mediema SC. So these are the 11 who are going to bid for 5 slots for Premier League at the ESCO. But in the Division 1, we know that Samuel Enimado has also put his name up once again for the election. The rest hasn't been given out by our sources from the
FA. I think Sami and the Division 1 board have done really well last season, to be honest.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll be getting a lot more on that, and we'll be updating our listeners as well as those who monitor us on Facebook via our social media handles from tomorrow if we complete with all our investigations, or our sources give us detailed information. But when it comes to the ticket for the women's representative, it is only one person who has filed her nomination, and that is Gifty Owari Mensah. Yes, she's the only one, the CEO for Berry Ladies Football Club. She's going unopposed, and it's likely she only needs that affirmation to get that ticket or slot. So if you look at the Ket Okraku Friday when he was filing or submitting his forms, you could see Gifty with him showing, 4 fingers, indicating that yes, she's part of the dream and she shares the same dream with Ket Okraku. So Gifty is also going on opposed. So these are the people who are. Is
it just right for the candidates to side with Ket now?
Well,
incumbent.
Even the Regional Football Association chairman, who are expected to be as independent as they would be,
and should be,
and they only carry, I think, just the votes. Aside their members who would also be carrying their votes, have stepped up, and then they've endorsed a number of them. According to Ket's camp, all the 10 regions, when it comes to football, you don't have 16 regions. You have 10 regions. That is the old demarcation of Ghana's territories and boundaries. Now, all the 10 have supported Ket Okraku's bid for a second term, but as to whether it was right or it was wrong, I think they should have known better, because I don't think they represent the masses fully, because there have been some agitations from various clubs. But let's see how things pan out. But as it stands now, or from our checks, it looks like Ket stands in pole position to win this. So we just wait to see on the 27th. Just like elections has always been, George Afriyie was confident 4 years ago. When it got to the elections, yes, he was just bamboozled and he cried in the end. So Ket is also very confident that he's going to be retained. So we just wait until the 27th. But for the 11 seats for the Premier League, for the 5 seats for the Premier League, that is being vied for by 11 people. That is where a lot of the challenge will come. Can Kwesi Apia get into
and the 11 is what you mentioned?
Yes, the 11
and how many seats are they vying for?
5. Just 5. So if we can go through again.
Let's take them one by one.
Right.
Actually, not go through.
Okay.
But let's take them one by one.
Yeah. Kinsley Osebonsu, the first person from Bichim United.
From Bichim United. Does he stand a chance?
I think he does. He really does. Especially with the college that is coming from, the Bono region and Ashanti. I think he really stands a chance in there. But just as the dynamics have always been, they've always had at least one representative of there. If he should be able to win, it means that between himself and Odrosafo, one of them may probably have to drop. Between himself and Odrosafo, one of them may probably have to drop from that executive council. Yeah.
But I hope everybody is also
3FM 92.7.
Okay, so Yao, do you have the list?
No, I don't have the list.
All right, okay. Let me just share it to the rest so that
Ore, could you have the list
to see it
of the Ghana Premier League reps vying for the 5 slots at ESCO?
All right.
Okay, so but there's Odrosafo for Brecum Chelsea.
Brecum Chelsea, yes. So
Odrosafo Brecum Chelsea, that's a chance. 5 slots. There are 11 men.
So I've shared it to the 3Sports page, so everyone can just check it out.
I think Randy Abe is like
Randy is going to get there.
I think Randy gets there.
Are we supposed to guess the 5 that the football people would
choose? Let's guess 5 out of this 11.
Yeah, but I'm asking, are we supposed to get our competent 5 or 5 that we expect the football people to choose?
It's not competent. 5 that we think will win.
5 that we based on how good they are.
Wait, there are 5 who ought to win or 5 who are likely to win.
Okay. So the question is not who you think should win.
Yes.
Who do you think would win?
Okay.
Because you have to know that.
Is it clarified now?
Yeah. It's not who ought to win.
It is not who should win, but who would win. Yeah.
Wait, you say it's not who should win, but who would win?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who would win? Okay.
We'll get to the show.
Okay. Who would win? Okay, so I think Randy Abe gets a pick.
Would win.
Yeah. Frederick Champon also gets a pick in there.
Would win. That's 2.
Tony Obin, very influential. I'll go for Tony Obin too.
3.
I need 2 more, isn't it? 2, I'll go for Drosafo, very influential.
Okay.
My last one.
One more.
One is between Kwesi Appiah and Elijah Akambi.
92.7.
Wood, you said.
Wood. If it's Wood, yeah, Akambi gets it. I think.
I was surprised when you mentioned Kwesi Appiah, to be honest.
Yeah.
In this current GFA, Kwesi Appiah doesn't have the locals.
It's all about this.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think about my 5?
I agree.
No, I
think confused.
I think your 5 will be similar to many of the 5s we pick because Randy Abe, Frederick Champon, Odro Safo. I mean, it kills me to say that, but yeah. so the 3 of them, and I think Kingsley Osei-Bonsu just because of the Bono affiliation. I feel like that
isn't that what Odro Safo will be there for?
Yeah, but that means that they would split the votes a bit out there.
Yeah.
The thing is, Odro Safo will get more outside of BA, and Kingsley could just nick it within the BA clubs because I mean, let's face it, Odro Safo is not really a likable person.
But for some reason, the football people like him.
and then Dr. Tony Obin. Yeah, Dr. Tony Obin. I mean, Eloy is my friend. I really hope he wins. But
who do you take out of just to narrow the conversation? Who do you take out of Oreku's 5?
Out of Oreku's 5,
I hear you mentioned Randy.
Out of Oreku's 5, Randy, Freddy Champong, and then Odro Safo, and also Dr. Tony Obin. Yeah.
No, but you put in Kingsley. So who did you take out?
I put in Kingsley. So
who did you take out then?
Did you take out Champong?
No, I took out Kwesi Appiah and Elijah Akambi.
Oh yeah, there was an Akambi for him.
3FM 92.7.
Obin, Safo.
Those would win, oh?
Yeah, would win.
Okay. Obin, Safo, Odro Safo.
Champong.
Fred.
Oh, I say 3.
Yeah.
Bonsu.
Kingsley Bonsu.
Yeah.
5.
Sneaking in Eloini in there. I've snuck him in.
This is not show though. This is
I've snuck him in.
And Randy Abe is out for you?
I've snuck him in.
And Randy Abe is out?
Randy is out.
Adela,
why?
Why always me?
You're trying to fight the system.
Kelvin, let me hear your 5.
All right, so theory, if you look at my 5, I would still go for Dr. Randy Abe. He'll be in there. Frederick Champon.
He's everybody's first.
Yes.
Let him be there.
Yeah, Frederick Champon is going to be in there. Dr. Tony Obin is going to be in there, still maintained. I think Ralph Jambra has become one of the solid forces behind Ketan. If you know really well how he's being solid for him, he's going to be in there. I'll take out Odro Safo and then probably I would pick Kingsley Osei-Bonsu to join.
I would go for Randy Abe. I think obviously undisputed, the most influential. As a matter of fact, he settled last year's presidential election.
Oh yeah,
that's
a major
how
force.
Yeah, that's how influential he is. Freddy Champong, a very astute politician in Ghana football, and it's interesting that he's vying on the tickets of Dreams FC. No way he loses. Tony Obin from Mediama Sporting Club, obviously really really huge. Eloy Money doesn't stand a chance. Edmond Aka doesn't stand a chance.
92.7.
I think if football people wake up to reality and understand what is good for our football, Odro Safo wouldn't get in there. But I still think Odro Safo would make it. And then my last would be Kingsley.
Kingsley.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I think it's fair. I think
I really, really hope there's a huge shake-up in the, especially in the ESCO. Someone like Odrosafu doesn't deserve to be there
at all.
anymore. He doesn't at all.
At all.
I'm sure he might see this somewhere and insult me and insult my parents.
We can't be bothered to.
But I don't care. For what he did with the Black Maidens, he doesn't have a place in that executive committee. He was so poor, and then after that, when we were trying to call him for answers, he was being disrespectful to everybody.
That's how he is anyway.
He doesn't deserve a place.
Nobody's attacking anyone
in the ESCO.
But it's just what you give us. The energy you give us.
Exactly. The thing is
that the same way we respond?
He doesn't deserve a place in the ESCO. Edmond Aka doesn't deserve a place in the ESCO. Basically, for what he did when he led the Black Galaxies to what competition did they go for?
The Chan.
The Chan.
Yes.
Yeah. For what he did when he took the Black Galaxies to the Chan, he doesn't deserve a place.
Yeah.
Also, another one of those abhorrent people who don't respect basic laws and basic human interaction. They don't deserve to be there. I have spoken to quite a number of people in this group that's vying for ESCO. Dr. Tony Obin is always ready to talk. Even if he doesn't want to speak to you, he's going to be
respectful
about
polite.
it. Yes, there's courtesy. Randy Abe is also like that. I mean, he is basically like one of us. He's our senior colleague, and he understands. If he doesn't want to talk, he goes about it politely. You don't have to insult somebody if you don't want to do an interview. It is not done anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that at the level that you are, you should know that this is not the way to go when it comes to some of these things.
Yeah.
If anybody who's younger than these guys sit on radio and talk to them anyhow, they would go somewhere and say these guys are being disrespectful.
Yeah.
But who is calling them out for being disrespectful to everybody? I think that it's high time we need to cut these people off from the FA. We always keep saying that the FA has a bad image amongst people. The FA is this, the FA
and they're not
that.
helping themselves.
It is these people who are in that FA who are causing some of these things. Because if you insult a journalist, journalists have fan bases. Whatever you do, they will go out there and say the FA is not doing this, the FA is not doing that. And it's the reason why Ket has had to explain himself so many times. Even when he has done something good for the FA, nobody sees it. These are the people who are causing some of these things. How do you take the Black Maidens to whatever competition and then you are charged for cheating and you don't even give a tangible reason why?
It tells you what he's done.
Because these are technical matters.
Exactly.
It tells you what all he's done in his club, and the club that he manages. It tells you how he's run the club.
Yeah. And then you are trying to shift blames when you are the management committee chairman. Who else are you going to blame? Everything is supposed to come through you. The Black Galaxies went to Chan, and it was a poor display.
3FM,
everything we heard about the Black Galaxies and how poor they were, all centered around one man, Edmond Aka, and he never gave an explanation for how bad it went. I don't think these people deserve a chance in the ESCO, and it's even quite laughable that they have been able to have the bravado to come and stand for positions in the ESCO.
They always will. I always say that football people don't have shame. I think over the years, it's not just this administration, but
they've never had
over the years, people that you thought wouldn't have the locus, wouldn't have, excuse me to say, no, I wouldn't use the word, but people who shouldn't have that courage to come again out publicly to contest for any position or to speak out about anything. These are the people who actually do. And to actually buttress what Yao was saying about how rude and
disrespectful
that they are. These are the guys. I mean, you remember when Stephen Appiah spoke about
exactly. I had even forgotten about that.
How Ghana football should develop.
Yeah.
Odrosafu was absolutely disrespectful towards the biggest legend we've had in this country in the 2000s.
Yeah.
This guy brought in Stephen Appiah's salary, how he supposedly has mismanaged his finances. What do you have with Odrosafu, really?
No, but the thing is,
it's
not even about that. The thing is, I mean, what Stephen Appiah said was to the Football Association.
Exactly.
You don't have to attack the person's personality. It was really uncalled for. If you wanted to respond,
so unnecessary.
Respond with something else.
Attack the fact.
Attack the facts.
I mean,
the
why
fact
are you
that
attacking
he said,
the man? And besides,
attack what he said. What he said wasn't wrong.
It wasn't wrong.
I mean,
so
he wasn't wrong.
Calling, you see, the thing is, you are not in the position you are by virtue of being in a monarchy that your father relinquished the position to you after he died.
Transparency and accountability.
It was by elections. People trusted you to be there.
Nobody wants to be held accountable.
If for some reason something is not going well, everybody has. I mean, as far as it is a constructive criticism, they have the right to criticize. And for some reason, they just don't know how to take. Anyway, Ghana football and the people we have at the helm.
But Terry, there's one
we have
thing.
To move on though.
Yeah, you shouldn't be surprised if Kwesi Appiah and then Akambi managed to get themselves in
because of the clubs.
Yeah, the clubs. You shouldn't be surprised.
But it's not the first time anyone has come on the tickets of Kotoko and Hearts and have lost out.
No. George Amwako won.
Yeah.
George Amwako won.
Yeah, but that's George.
That is George Amwako. This is Kwesi Appiah too. You never know the kind of influence and the respect. When it comes to these elections, it's more about personal relationship.
But remember how these elections are won, especially at the executive committee level, is that the president has a big say in who he wants to sit in the conference room with, because they effectively will be taking the decisions together.
Yep.
Now, if he doesn't get along with you, no matter who you are, you're not getting on that. You're not getting voted for, and we all know the issues between Kurt and Kwesi, especially after Kurt took over. Maybe they were papering over the cracks at the time when Kurt was an ESCO member and Kwesi was a national team coach.
3FM.
But after he became president, he made it evident he doesn't like Kwesi. And that for me, if not for that, I think Kwesi has a big chance. I mean, you're on the ticket of Kotoko.
Yes.
You are the former national team coach. Everybody respects you.
That is why I'm telling you shouldn't be surprised if Akambi and then Kwesi Appiah
maybe Akambi
managed to join.
Maybe Akambi, Kwesi Appiah.
Why do you think Akambi?
Because Ghana football politics is dirty.
And you think Kwesi Appiah cannot be dirty?
No.
The dirty nature you are talking about also comes with being affluent.
And he is affluent anyway.
Exactly.
Okay,
and he's influential in Kumasi, Bono, and even appealing to those from the Western, the Central.
But does the GFA president want to work with him?
You may not want to work with all the people.
It's a very small circle.
You may not want to
work. They control that circle so much.
Exactly. You may not want to work with all the people around you, but when it comes to these elections,
I tell you what though, there's not a single member of Nyantechi's ESCO team that got there and Nyantechi said, okay, you are managed because they voted for you. He controlled everybody who won. Because until he falls out with you like he did with George Free or with anybody else.
Let's see. This election is going to be
okay. We'll
nice.
See.
Yeah.
It's just about a month and 2 weeks away.
Yeah. So we are
and so far, the only people to have taken the nomination form for presidential elections are the current president and the man who was closest to him in the previous election, George Free.
Elections they've closed the period for you to
I'm
on Clinton.
No. That's why it's 50,000. That's why.
Adela, why?
And you know the funny thing.
Adela, you should have found.
You have to be very careful.
Imagine if George didn't announce early. And he was waiting for the thing to be open, and then he later says, I want to contemplate. Kayatum.
Yeah.
Football mafia, me feeling. Good luck to you if you want to be FA president someday. It is easy when, Nyantechi left and it was, green for everybody and everybody stands a chance. But the moment someone puts his foot in there, talk about there's been a lot of around because this weekend will be the last weekend.
There's information coming.
What information is that?
Nat Obeng.
Okay.
He's one of those who knows these elections. He says, I should tell you that Kwesi Appiah will win this election. And he knows what he's saying because Menchia has patched all the differences.
Thank you.
Oh, really?
Kwesi Appiah is going to
so that's been solved. So that's been solved.
The reason why, I don't know whether 2 days ago or yesterday, if you were on the timelines, you saw that many were saying that Kotoko have, affirmed the nomination form of Keto Kweku, and some of the Kotoko fans weren't happy, some were indifferent. So that explains the reason why many have come out with that.
Because from the personal level, Kotoko and GFA don't sit well.
Exactly.
I mean, we've gone through all the issues of Nanaya Ambonsa, Dasoberi, and all that. I mean, they have proper issues. But now it's a new management, and maybe that's why things have been patched up. But let's see. I think that's a really interesting.
So there was that interest in either Dasoberi going for it, but they realized he doesn't really have a good.
For him, it's a no.
Kwesi Appiah can at least make that push. So Kwesi Appiah is in there. So just wait for it. Yeah. The elections is going to be sweet like fine.
Not to show working, else he go explain time.
Okay. Maybe we'll bring that before the election itself. But yeah, so this is still Sports Ultras, and you are, taking a listen on 3FM 92.7. If you've joined us on Facebook, or if you want to join us on Facebook, it's 3FM 927. That's the account, and then you can definitely enjoy the conversation. And then we're also on Twitter at 3SportsGH. This one from Coach Eben Sefa says, good evening. You guys are doing a great job watching you from Milton Keynes, UK. Coach Sefa, thank you very much for staying tuned.
We miss you.
Hey, you bet.
We miss you. I missed you from the World Cup.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
We miss you.
We agree.
Yeah. This is 3 Sports, the best sports team in the country. Get interactive with us across all social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 3SportsGH. Sports Ultras. Sports Ultras. This is 3 Sports.
And so we move on straight to, I was introducing something else, and I said there's been lots of hymns. And you're so happy you think you're going to Arsenal, right? No. We actually are talking for the next 5 minutes about sports betting in Ghana.
92.7.
And I'm talking about this being the last weekend you win and take everything home. From next week, anything you win, government takes a percentage. It's 10%. They say from August 15th. So that's from Tuesday, actually. So if you're targeting any midweek games, you must make sure that your calculations go beyond what you want to win. So if you want to win 7,000, target 8,500. Because in the end, they'll take 850 cedis out of it. If you win 10,000, they'll take 1,000. You see how the 10% works? For those of you who win small, if you win 200 cedis, they'll take 20 cedis. Sorry?
Anderson.
But I mean, guys, I think this thing has circulated for months. Just that it's so close now, people know it's a reality. The youth are angry because they say there's been a lot of unemployment. This is something that puts food on the table, and you are taxing this one too. You want to take some of it. How fair is that? Yeah, how fair is this?
Terry, I mean, I don't really like talking about government and their
but this one affects sports.
I know, because actually, look, in all of this, the money is going to someone's bed. It's going under someone's bed.
Hey, you talk about
we can sit here and talk about it for so many. Someone will let their house help steal it, and their house help will be rich. So what's the big deal?
92.7.
Let's talk about this weekend's games. This one.
Aniela, that's your boyfriend bet?
My boyfriend's. My boyfriend.
But yeah, I mean, what do you make
of
this?
All I have to say is investors are worried, but believers will enjoy.
Are you a believer or you're an investor? Are you a believer?
I don't bet, but I don't want to be insensitive towards
those who bet.
Those who actually bet. I mean, there's really not much you can do when there's a law passed.
It is terrible.
Terrible. It's really not much you can do.
It's terrible. You are taking e-levy, COVID levy, NHIL, education levy, then betting levy too. What is this? Oh, bro.
Kelvin,
Terry. Well, I think it's a bit sad for some who have been making huge amounts from this betting, and I think this is going to discourage a number of people from betting because they can't seem to understand why they should sit down, allow their brains to work. There are some people who never knew about some of the clubs in Eastern Europe, Western Europe, but they now can tell you clubs in hockey, football that or do I say ice hockey? And then when you go to horse racing, they can even mention from now on. They can even mention the names of the horses, all because of betting. In as much as they are betting,
the names of the horses.
Yes, in as much as they are. in as much as they are betting to win.
Aniela, you named the horse in the promo.
Yes.
Oh, but I didn't name the horse.
3FM
it's Diana.
92.7.
Sorry?
The horse is actually called Diana.
And it's because you bet on the horse?
No, the horse is called Diana.
So how did you know? How did you know?
They call her Diana in the stables. Yes. It's a good horse. Now we'll be doing horse racing here.
You and who?
Yao. We'll do horse racing. And Oreku.
Yeah, true.
So I think Thierry, for people to just sit down and then rack their brains, and I think that it's not about the tax on it. It's about the amount or the percentage. 10% is too huge. At least some 5%, 3%, because many. Do you tell me that if I bet 20 Ghana cedis and I don't win, it means I'm not getting anything. But if I sit down to analyze the games, the trend of results, and I manage to win, let's say 100 Ghana cedis, and you are taking 10 Ghana cedis for no job done, and then just like Yao is saying, the money will not be put into any prudent use for me to benefit as a youth.
That's what the problem is.
It's not like any youth center is going to be developed for me to go and enjoy from it. I would have to go back and pay to use that youth center or youth facility.
I think that's the point I was trying to make.
That's a really, really good point.
Yes.
I mean, if there was some projection to say that, we are taking this money and it's going into sports development in the country, to say that we were putting up these facilities from sports, but because we realize that there's so much money circulating in the sports industry, in the betting industry, and so would take this chunk of money. We are projecting that after 12 months, we could make, say, 1 million Ghana cedis, and that is going to put up some astroturfs around or something. Yes. Then we know that at least
all they think about is the accumulation of the revenue, but they don't tell us the end result of where they're accumulating that money to.
There were so many promises that were made before the e-levy.
Exactly.
When we collect e-levy, we'll do this, we'll do that. Have you seen anything?
Nothing.
In this country, street lights don't work.
So you mean promises?
Exactly. No, in this city, street lights don't work. And something as basic as street lights don't work.
Traffic lights.
And then you are and then you are
major intersections.
And then you are taking this money and what are you going to use the money for?
They're not even giving us.
Why have you been quiet the last 15 minutes?
Because someone has stole 1 million. You want to add another million. What is this?
It doesn't make
it's actually more than 1 million actually.
Charlie.
Hey, Jerry. How I wish I was a house help. This is the only time in my whole life that I want to be a house help.
And in the right person's house.
You have to be in the right house.
Yeah. Because me, I won't be here for you to catch me.
If you go to Anderson's house.
No, but truth is, Anderson doesn't need a house help.
What's Anderson do? I don't like.
If you go to Anderson's house, then you want to be a house help in Anderson's house.
No, truth is, Anderson.
No. Or Aniela's house.
You bet di
Don't do the poverty cake thing again. And Thierry, please just sound the one to the guys. I also want to eat the cake, the nice cake.
Then be here on Saturdays.
Be here on Saturday.
As simple as that. Yeah.
Yesterday we were there.
Yeah, but I mean on this betting subject, what annoys me the most is the posture that government or government officials are taking. After this whole discourse has been brought up, and it's funny that they're trying to make it look like this is supposed to, in a way, curb betting. But let me tell you that in the past 4 years...
Actually, that was a narrative before this whole thing started. I remember now.
Yeah, in the past 4 years, government have made 450 million Ghana cedis from betting companies alone.
Through licensing?
Yeah, 450 million Ghana cedis. And so why would you turn around and take up a posture that makes it look like you hate this thing? This devil is the same thing that is feeding you and giving you the excess money.
Yeah.
And the truth is you want to make more because you've realized that there's a bigger market out there. They realized that it was just one section of the betting industry.
They were dealing with the handlers.
Yeah.
And not the punters.
Now they are going to the real source, the people who actually give these betting companies money. And look, I think it's unfair on two parts because, as I said, these companies are already renewing their license fees, paying taxes, and a lot of the discussion doesn't always factor the fact that the new laws also include the betting firms. They also have to now pay an extra 20% from the revenue that they make. It's not just
if
about.
They can't stand it, they'll close shopping.
Yeah, so we've had one betting. I mean, I wouldn't mention their name. I think they've already pulled out. They said, "Look, Ghanaian market, I beg, it's okay. Don't bet again," because here's the case where you are killing whatever it is from 2 parts. The betting companies cannot sustain themselves anymore, and now you are cutting down the market because you say people should pay 10% of their winners. Look, you don't need to do economics to understand the meaning of tax or what tax is. But the whole point of tax is that when you make an income, government expects that, you are using our resources. You are part of this country. And so just give us something small that we use to maintain the country. Yeah. Why are you looking at betting as something that is just one part? It's all about the winning. Meanwhile, realistically, for someone to win a bet, the average person loses about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before they make that big winning. So why are you separating yourself from whenever the person loses? Because when the person is losing, he's still involved in that same process. Whatever resources you think he's using, whichever thing that you think he's doing in this country that makes him a part of it, when he's losing, he's using that. So why is it that when they are losing, you don't care? But that small win that they get, you also want to take that. And I think that's what they should be really looking at. Because I think that's cheating. That's not taxing. Because if you go on the ground, you realize that a lot of people are making losses. Exactly. You see, and that's the truth of it. Because think of it this way. You have 50,000 Ghana cedis. You try and double your odds. You get your 2 odds. You win 100,000 Ghana cedis.
3FM 92.7.
On your winning list, they write 100,000 Ghana cedis. But you didn't win 100,000. You just won 50,000. That's the dynamics of betting. But they are only considering your 100,000 as a win, and so they will get 10,000 Ghana cedis. Meanwhile, you invested 50,000 cedis.
Exactly. It goes beyond that.
Yeah, and I think that they didn't include stakeholders. They just got up and said, "Hey, let's do this," and then they just go on and do that, which I think is unfair. Because at the end of the day, the truth is that people are betting because there aren't enough jobs.
That's what I said. I mean,
if you have
unemployment's on the rise.
Yes, if people were getting paid to sustain themselves, they won't go and bet.
Yeah. Anyway, we move.
3 Sports.
We go straight to the English Premier League. It's back. It started on Friday with Manchester City beating Burnley, a 10-man Burnley, by 3-0. It followed up with several very interesting results. Arsenal, the closest to Man City last season, also beat Nottingham Forest by 2-1. Sheffield United lost to Crystal Palace by 1-0. Bournemouth drawing 1-0 with West Ham United. Brighton Hove Albion beating Luton by 4-1. Caicedo who? Everton losing at home to Fulham, and then there was Newcastle United also thrashing Aston Villa by 5-1. Brentford also drawing 2-2 with Tottenham Hotspur. Chelsea also drawing 1-0 with Liverpool, and there's one more game later tomorrow,
3FM,
and that's Man United against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Guys, let's get into it.
Yes, let's
start with Man City. We'll start with Man City. Who goes first?
I don't.
Man City, let me go.
You don't want to go? You could have gone.
She wants to go on Arsenal.
Let's just, because there's news.
Man City.
We have to take, there's news, please. Gary, please.
So I think, Man City is just normal service regimes for Pep Guardiola's men. There were questions on the hunger this time round, which I think that they've answered really well.
Yeah.
There were moments in that game that once again highlights why they are champions. You can see from that halftime frustration from Pep Guardiola that even though his team were up, there are still requirements and standards that he sets for his players, and explaining that Haaland needed to understand the situation and what it required to be done in that particular circumstance. And Haaland also replying after the game saying that that's what he loves about Pep Guardiola. He loves the hunger that he brings, and this the coach that has just won the treble. And so if there were any talks or any hints that we've just seen, Manchester City win the Premier League, and so there would be some lack of motivation, or probably they've seen it all, done it all, and so there will be a drop in their level. I don't think so, and that's because of the type of manager that they have. I think they will be looking to do a historic fourth in a row that we've not seen anyone do. Can any team stop them? Yes, I think teams will get close this time around.
What do you mean by this time around?
We weren't close last time. Wasn't it like 10 points?
10 points. 92.7.
Oh, my math is 10 points in the league is quite big, especially when they took their foot off the pedal in the last 2 games. It could have been worse. But I mean, I think teams will probably
Gary,
get close.
you not say anything.
Nothing.
I think teams will get close this time round. Probably because I still think that there's a drop in level. Gundogan, Mahrez, yes, they've brought in someone like Kovacic, but those profiles are very difficult to replace. They would still find a way to score goals and win games. But I think teams would close in the gap, on them this time around, especially because Kevin De Bruyne will be out for a while, aggravated the same injury that he picked up in the Champions League final. I was disappointed with Pep Guardiola as to why he started him. I didn't think there was a need for that risk. He had played about 20-30 minutes of preseason. Came into the game surprised as captain because, as you know, now the Premier League do interviews before matches start. Kevin De Bruyne said that he didn't expect to start, especially because he wasn't involved in preseason a lot. Pep took the risk. When he was asked, he said, the injury could have happened anytime, 60th, 70th minute. But I think deep down he regrets it because now it's aggravated. And with a hamstring injury, Kevin De Bruyne past 30, it could be seeing him out for 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Now the question is who really replaces him? Because without Gundogan, there's the lack of creativity in the middle of the park. And there's also no spark on the wings after Riyad Mahrez has left. So there's still question marks on the team. Burnley walk in the park. The next test, Newcastle at home. I think that would be a much tougher proposition for Pep Guardiola's side. Once I see them after 2-3 games, you'll be able to make an assessment of it. But you would definitely expect them to be at the top battling for the league in the end.
Interesting.
3FM 92.7.
Terry, first of all, it's unfair what Oreku said because what does he mean by teams didn't come close?
Were you close?
But that's not close.
Were you close?
It's as close as close
they
can
won
be
the
under
league
the
like 3 games.
Under what circumstances?
Under the circumstances. It was as close as close
the
can be.
circumstance was a 38-game Premier League season.
Under what circumstance?
That's the only circumstance. Were you close enough?
We were as close can be. Who was closer than us?
But then Liverpool 97, 98.
Exactly. That's not close.
What are you saying?
This is like this second is like when Oli was second.
Yes,
it's the same thing.
Some second be a while. Forget it. Okay,
it's not close.
Like don't even go back to it. When Liverpool were just 1 game away from winning.
Yeah.
Or when Man United could have won the league on the same day when Mancini won with.
Thank you. That's close.
It is not this close.
Not
what
10
is
points.
close?
10 points.
That's but
you remember when Chelsea and Man United were battling in 2010?
It's relative. Terry, it's
2008.
relative.
Sorry,
there's close. There's
nothing
closer.
relative.
There's very close.
No, it's not relative. It's not relative.
Oh, still close.
You, Terry, it's time for news. Let me just talk about Arsenal small and go. I beg.
Okay, you talk.
So. Terry, we are just coming off a high, winning the Community Shield, especially at a time when most Arsenal fans had given up hope until that game came through. The goal came through, and I mean, it was very interesting to see, and we're happy to lift that. But starting the season to Nottingham Forest, there were times that we saw a lot of confidence in the Arsenal side, and if you just look at the setups for the goals, you would be able to see that there's beauty in a Declan Rice Partey type of midfield. But if you just look at that Martinelli assist that he provided to Nketiah for the goal to come through, it kind of looked unintentional. It could have been unintentional, but I got the job done. And again, when it came to Saka's absolutely brilliant strike, we saw the connection in there. It went from Partey, went to Saliba. Then ultimately, Saka took control and did exactly what he needed to do. And I think that is football, that is beauty, and that is something that all Arsenal fans would absolutely love to see. Then into the second half, it was not what it was supposed to be.
Are you writing a match report?
I'm not, but Taiwo will give it to him. He had a baby, all is well. Let him have his goal, score for the baby. Good day, great. And I just think that it was a very nervy finish to the game. I was hoping that we could start the campaign and then keep a clean sheet, but it wasn't to be. But our next challenge, Kelvin, is at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Yes, we will do much better.
Arsenal were not that good.
So, exactly, and that's what I was even coming to, because on the opening day, if you take on Forest, and you are telling me it's a nervy finish, and you are telling me it's a nervy finish, why is it supposed to be nervy?
Yeah.
Didn't you see Newcastle yesterday?
Yeah.
They played a much better side.
It was an opportunity to remind everyone that this is your league to lose. I don't think you did it.
And you're over the moon.
You didn't do it.
You are actually over the moon.
You see,
symbolic
these type of wins, when they start coming in March,
you already could try winning your games for a change.
No, me, I agree with Liverpool.
Try winning your games for a change. Why not be talking about that? Last season, where did you finish? Last season, where did you finish?
Liverpool.
Last season, where did he finish?
I want to see you against.
No, you cannot just be walking around talking. You finished 12 last season. 12 last season. And then now you want to.
Anela, why are you shouting?
Maybe they want to put it because I'm an Arsenal fan.
Anela, why are you shouting?
We're just telling you the truth. I mean, you have an attack that Eddie Nketiah leads.
Yeah.
How do
you've never liked Eddie?
Because he's not good. I've always told you he's not good. Eddie Nketiah is not the kind of player to give you 25 goals a season.
Eddie Nketiah Jackson.
He's not it.
Eddie Nketiah Nicolas Jackson.
He's not it. That's the thing. And if you want to win the league, you need a player who can consistently score for you.
Yeah.
And that's what
you don't have.
Thierry, 1 down, 37 more to go to win the league.
You're not even scared. Your 37.
Your two strikers are not good. Fix that.
Yeah.
Fix that before. Yeah. Gabi Jesus is not good.
He's not good.
So don't
be
acting like he's
Gabi
good.
Jesus, no Ferguson, Brighton crash goes in.
You have a great midfield. All the best to the midfield. Very, very solid midfield. But the attack, I'm good. If it's this attack there, I'm fine. I know that.
Kelvin, rescue Aniela. Say something. Say something.
Wow, Thierry. It was always good. You know, Friday we sat here when people thought Manchester City were going to struggle against Burnley. But they had it easy. I predicted that. Looking at this Arsenal team, and yesterday from what Mikel Arteta tried to do, it was more like something new that he didn't even try during the preseason.
Something new.
And he wanted to do it, and it nearly affected his team. And that came after Jurrien Timber got injured. Maybe he brought on Tomiyasu, thinking that Tomiyasu had that same skill set to have been able to. How long is Timber
out anyway?
Not confirmed. Hopefully by tomorrow we'll get to know for
but that was a terrible injury.
Yeah, but it was a very terrible injury.
No contact.
You know, exactly.
Just know that would be a
while. So I think it was just 1-2 risk many times for Arsenal
92.7
trying to do the same thing when Jurrien Timber wasn't available. So it affected the team shape, and for a player like Thomas Partey, you really expect him to have the same energy levels at Kyle Walker we used to play in that style of game with 3 men at the back or 4 men at the back where he's playing from the right hand side. It affected the middle because Thomas Partey wasn't moving as he should have when Tomiyasu came on. So I think with what Arteta provided, it was a very good one in the first half, but the second half the injuries limited him. And just like Yao said, I think I said this somewhere last 2 weeks or last week, that if Arsenal fail to get
no problem,
a potent or a quality goal scorer, there is no way they'll be title contenders or they will be able to win the Premier League. They may challenge for the title or they may compete for the title, that they can never put in a challenge. And I am saying
the goals come from elsewhere?
Many
like
say
Saka,
many
like
related to that Manchester City team who were not reliant on a striker. But ask yourself, those forwards, how many goals were they getting for the side? They were getting close to 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 goals in a season.
Yeah.
But ask yourself, how many of these Arsenal players will be able to get you 20 goals? Bukayo Saka at most will give you 15. Martinelli at most will give you 14. Odegaard at most will give you 13. But you need a potent striker. Look at this Manchester City team. You could see that they are clearly off the socks from what we saw last season because there is no Riyad Mahrez. And there is no Ilkay Gundogan, who is supposed to be that link-up man between the midfield and the attack. So you could see there was a bit of a problem in between there. Julian Alvarez may play there, but he's not your intelligent player to be able to give the supplies or that incisive passing in the final third of the pitch. But it took only one man to give them 2 goals out of nowhere from the 2 touches that he had at that particular moment. That is Erling Haaland. If you have such a striker,
even that Pep wasn't satisfied.
Exactly, he's going to win you games. When Manchester United realized that they were losing out on the Premier League for a long while, Arsenal's Robin van Persie popped up, and Sir Alex Ferguson just said to him, "Gentlemen, come to Manchester United, come and win with me." He went, and that was the man who gave them over 20 goals to win the Premier League when he joined Manchester United. For all the teams, look at when Leicester City won. It was Jamie Vardy. He was scoring left, right, centre. Liverpool managed to win, and Mohamed Salah, you remember the number of goals that he got. Sadio Mane was also getting more than 20 goals. So clearly, if Arsenal want to win the Premier League, they should be investing in the proper forward. Eddie Nketiah at most can give you 10 goals, but it's 10 goals enough for you to win the Premier League. That is why many think that in spending too much on Kai Havertz, why not add 15 million and try to get Victor Osimhen? Now you have a proven striker from the Italian league.
What's Havertz's position anyway?
That's the problem.
That's the bigger problem.
They use him as an attacker forward, and some are saying tactically he attacks the spaces in between the attack and the midfield.
It's too much English.
Come on.
No, you see, it's just. I feel like it's just new signing blues.
Yeah.
You know, you just try to make excuses for the new signing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
3FM,
I mean, like Kelvin was saying, look. Man City have had Yaya Toure score 20 goals from midfield.
Exactly.
Who in this Arsenal midfield can score 20 goals for Arsenal? I mean, even 10.
Yeah.
You understand? And those are the problems. If Arsenal gets a goal scorer, even someone like Ivan Toney, they can actually win the Premier League.
Yeah.
But you see, in the second half when Forest looked like they were pushing and Arsenal were getting minute chances, those chances would have been goals if they had a striker. You understand? And that's where the problem is. Look, United, for everything Rashford did last season, still could not lock it down because there was no centre forward, a figurehead who was, connecting the play from midfield into the.
It was Chelsea's problem anyway.
You understand?
For all things said against Chelsea, it was that they were creating chances and couldn't score.
And that's where the problem is. So usually, having a number 9 is very important. The thing is, people would say, "Oh, Real Madrid do not have it, or City have done it in the past." But these guys are different. I mean, yesterday Jude Bellingham is scoring, and Jude Bellingham will score more than 10 goals from midfield.
Well, of course,
and that would show up the numbers. So,
of course, he will.
I mean, I feel like Arsenal really, really need a centre forward. But all in all, the midfield is really good. Partey Rice will be one of the most solid midfields in the Premier League this season. But let's just see how they are going to grow from game to game, and then also how they are going to tackle some of the big games, really. Because last season, for instance, that game they lost at Old Trafford, I felt like they should have gotten more from that game. The game they drew against Southampton was a game they should have gotten more from. So some of the games that came by in such pressure moments where they faltered is where I want to see them do better in. But I mean, if they don't get a striker, it's going to be tough.
It definitely will be. There's also the other big one we need to talk about. There's Chelsea and Liverpool. I'll let Oriku address that before the other guys also touch on that. It was a really eventful game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And I'm surprised because in the first place, at least thankfully, we've seen a goal or a couple of goals in this fixture where we're going we're a bit frustrated.
Yeah. The last 3 games also haven't produced a goal.
Yeah. I think since early 2022, this fixture has not seen a goal, and we've met about 4 times or so. And so it was good to at least see a goal. Although there weren't goals in the previous fixtures, I thought those games were pulsating and had really brilliant moments and good no games. But you always want to see goals. And as I said, from a Chelsea point of view, you would fear that when Liverpool took an early lead, that it could have gone bad, especially when Mohamed Salah seemed to have doubled Liverpool's lead. But that goal being disallowed in a funny way rather created momentum for Chelsea, and they just seized the game from that heading into the halftime break. Got a deserved equalizer. Unfortunately, I think the second half Chelsea really dominated and probably should have just got enough to get 3 points on the day. But there's been a lot of euphoria going around. If you look at Chelsea last season, it's all optimistic.
3FM 92.7.
But this was a very poor Liverpool side. The big question is, all the contenders for top 4, Newcastle, Manchester United, you're looking at Manchester City, Arsenal. If they got Liverpool, like how Liverpool played today, the question you should ask yourself, what would be the scoreline? I don't think Liverpool leave.
You think Newcastle will beat Liverpool
at home? If Liverpool played like this, it could have been 5.
They would drink them.
Okay. Liverpool looked tired. They looked leggy. They looked confused. The system looked, especially in that second half. And I just think for a long time now under different coaches, Frank Lampard, Tuchel, Graham Potter, Chelsea have just not been ruthless enough. And I look around the team, the profiles of players that we have, and I'm struggling to find a striker or a player who goes home disappointed that he didn't score in a game. Maybe apart from Nicholas Jackson and Sterling, who earlier said that he wants to be Chelsea's top scorer this season. I don't see any player who has that drive that I have to score in each game. And if he doesn't, he goes home disappointed. And I think personally, maybe Nkunku was brought in to solve that. But it's not unfortunate that he's out for a while. And so maybe Chelsea has to go back in the market. But they need goal scorers. They need players who play the game to score goals. Okay. Because you may end up having similar discussions to what we were seeing last season, that Chelsea played well today, deserved a lot from the game, should have won. And that could become the language for the season going forward. Because you have to remember that the Premier League is very ruthless. When you face teams like West Ham, Southampton, those guys don't even need to play well. Mm-hmm. They will just take their chances, and in the end, you realize that we're dropping way too many points. It's the same way Chelsea drew a number of games last season, and that was the Achilles heel of the team. And so someone needs to hold this team by the scruff of the neck and say, I'm the one going to get the goals for the team. And so find me. It could be Nicholas Jackson. He showed a lot of good signs, but once again, his finishing wasn't great.
Yeah.
Maybe he solves that in subsequent games, but Chelsea need goals, and it has to come from somewhere. And I don't know, maybe they have to go back into the market, or maybe Poch has to find it in the team, but they need to find goals.
Yeah, Chelsea, Liverpool.
I thought it was a really good game. Mm-hmm. The thing is that after watching this game, I realized why both teams need a player like Caicedo, and I think that if you look at it quite closely, Liverpool need Caicedo even more than Chelsea do. And, it just showed with how they were playing and all of that. Imagine a Liverpool midfield where Caicedo is at the base.
Yeah.
And then there's McAllister.
It frees up Szoboszlai and McAllister to do their work. Yeah.
And also for Chelsea, because if Caicedo is in there, it gives Enzo a chance to also go for it. And today Enzo was really, really good on the day. And so I'm just looking to see more. You see, the only thing is that, like I said with Arsenal and Kai Havertz, the new signing Blues, that's just how Chelsea fans are feeling about Jackson. Because, trust me,
3FM,
if Chelsea had signed a player like Victor Osimhen and he had delivered a performance like he did today, nobody would have been impressed.
Of course. But it's because it's Jackson.
And exactly. And the only reason why you are impressed is because you didn't think Jackson would do what he did today.
Yeah.
You understand? But he could do this for 3, 4, 5 games and not score. And then
everybody comes back to
you understand.
Good enough.
But I think Jackson will score.
I seriously have the feeling he will get on the score sheet before the 5th game, obviously. I think he will.
Yeah.
I just don't think he would quickly become the 20-goal player.
It will be difficult.
But I think he will get goals.
Yeah, it will be difficult.
I think he has goals in him.
It will be difficult.
Especially because Chelsea continue to create chances.
Oh no, of course. Yes. You see the thing is, like today I was telling you, Oreku, at some point where you felt like the crosses should have gone a bit higher, because Jackson was always in a good position. He was either in between Konate and Van Dijk.
Yeah. His movement was great. So if the crosses were just a bit higher, to come to him rather than go to the near post where Konate would clear, he could have gotten a chance. And he's very good with his head. Yeah. And so why don't you use that system of putting in crosses? Chilwell was doing that for him, after James did a few.
Yeah, but James's crosses today were not great enough. Yeah. But I think that when Chilwell was doing it, it was kind of working. But it's just that there was nobody also to pick up the second balls when maybe Van Dijk knocks it down and it wasn't coming to him and all of that. But I think that Chelsea have shown that they are good. When I saw the starting lineup today, I tweeted it that the team looked very ordinary after all the money spent. But I think that after the game,
92.7.
I need to give them a bit more credit for just how they played and how they were able to hold Liverpool. But also, like Oreku said, Liverpool were just not good today, and Liverpool need
especially in the second half.
They need a defensive midfielder, really, really bad. They need it, and if they don't get it, it's gonna cost them a lot of points. And also, given that they are going to play in the Europa League, where they'll be playing Thursday, Sunday, bro, it's going to be a lot of pressure on Liverpool. And also another season where Darwin Núñez is just being Darwin Núñez, and that's really a big problem, because look, I look at how a player like Darwin Núñez has been able to escape all the criticism for how much money he was brought in.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised, because how is nobody talking about Darwin Núñez and how ineffective he is in this Liverpool side after he was brought in for 100 million? So then what kind of scrutiny are we giving to the other players? Are we being too hard on the other players and not looking at someone like Núñez? Because look, if you are brought in for 100 million and you can't start a game against Chelsea,
then there's a problem.
Yeah. And Klopp knows there's a problem. And this has to be solved. Really, I don't know how Nunes is going to get better overnight, but in my opinion, it's a really bad buy. And Liverpool just have to maybe cut their losses by the end of the season and try to bring in someone better.
Well, I mean, to be fair to Nunes, first season I think he got about 9 goals and 2 assists in the Premier League.
And for £100 million player,
he wasn't so bad.
9 goals.
Yeah, 9 Premier League.
That's single numbers.
But you're looking at a player who he didn't come in as a starter for
3FM
and
92.7
playing as a left winger and all that. It's difficult. Some people usually underestimate, the difficulty of coming into the Premier League and hitting the ground running. I mean, all of this just shows us how difficult what Haaland is, what he's doing, how difficult it is. But yeah, for someone like Nunes, I would expect Klopp to have started him today, especially because he had a very good preseason where he was scoring goals. So I had about 5 goals or so, and I just think all of that momentum and confidence just drops back to zero when the league starts and the coach still doesn't trust you to lead the line. But I just wanted to pick off what Yao said, and it's an interesting comparison because you're looking at a Nicholas Jackson performance where he dropped deep, affected the game, created chances, and was everywhere. And you compare that to Erling Haaland's performance against Burnley,
who was constantly in the box,
and he was in the box and scoring 2 goals.
Yep.
And if I was to give you these 2 strikers, who would you want a striker who's just there to score, or someone who works hard?
It depends what I want.
I want the goals.
Yeah. So why
do people criticize?
No. So one coach will tell you that I just need the goals, like how I just said. Another coach will tell you that I have goals coming from different places. I need someone who drops deep, and that's why some coaches use the false 9 anyway.
Yeah.
Because they want a striker who can drop deep and join the play. No, because you can be sure that your wingers can score.
I think where Haaland's criticism comes from is in a game like the Champions League final.
Yeah.
Because he didn't score, he was totally missing, and that's where the problem is. You understand? Because then what am I getting from you aside from
you
the
can't
goals?
score, you can't play. so meaning that on Haaland's bad days, he really is bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but look at him in the Community Shield.
Yeah, he was
nothing.
Crazy.
Nothing in the Champions League final. Nothing. In the FA Cup final. Nothing.
Yeah.
And he was just inefficient. No goals.
And
nothing.
before this, there was an interesting stat. He had actually gone 9 games without scoring.
Yeah.
Dating back to the end of last season. 9 consecutive games without scoring. And that was a big problem. But, I mean, he's been able to rectify that. And that's what strikers should do. You have your bad patches, but you are able to come back strongly. Unfortunately, for some other strikers, you see, Haaland's confidence is like through the roof.
Yeah.
Some other strikers, they have their confidence so low.
Yeah.
And that goes to forwards like Raheem Sterling. He goes half season dirty, and suddenly he's forgotten how to play football. Today, I think I may have seen 1 or 2 good things about Sterling again, but preseason he was shambolic. And anyone who's watched Chelsea's preseason will know that this was a performance that was coming. I think Chelsea have been a lot more solid as a team, and maybe it would reflect a lot when they have good midfielders, defensive midfielders, to beef up what has been a very good display already. But let's move on straight. Let's go straight to the La Liga, and it's been an interesting start to Real Madrid's campaign.
Yeah.
Considering just before the start of La Liga, Courtois got off injured, missing the whole season. Psychologically, you are gone.
Yeah.
Now they say they want Kepa, and they have Kepa.
Yeah.
Then Militao in the game also gets himself injured, and that's what we have on our screens.
Yeah.
And we are told minimum is 6 months for him as well. That is crazy for any manager.
Yeah.
2 very, very key players to your system.
But it is Real Madrid. They are mentality monsters.
Yeah. I mean, so you think they'll still go on strong?
I think they'll pull through. I mean, it's Real Madrid.
3FM
you see, the thing is,
92.7
this thing we say about Real Madrid. Usually we feel like it's just maybe something that's just there. But I think that when you listen to the players who have actually played the game and how they describe playing either for Real Madrid or against Real Madrid will tell you that these guys just don't care. All they care about is winning, and so I feel like they can even step it up a notch now that they're having these injury crises.
Really?
I think that they can do that. The thing is, look, Militao is injured. They can bring in Nacho.
Rudiger is around.
Rudiger is around.
He came on yesterday to replace.
They can bring in Nacho as well, and so I feel like they have.
Even Alaba can play centre back.
Exactly. Yeah, Alaba partners with Militao, and then Militao is injured. So Rudiger partners Alaba, and then Nacho can be just.
I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think Real Madrid will be fine.
I don't think they'll be fine.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
You see, a key part of Real Madrid's success has been the quality of individual players that they have.
Okay.
And if you look at a coach like Ancelotti and his system, he requires individual brilliance. We've seen Courtois time and time again come up clutch for Real Madrid, even when they were beaten by 4-0 by Manchester City. He's an essential part of the system because of how many chances they concede.
And you think Kepa can't be that man?
No, Kepa. No. I've experienced Kepa.
Before Courtois left from Chelsea to Real, he had his own fair share of criticisms. People said he wasn't good enough with low shots. I mean, Kepa has been targeted for long shots. Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. You think he can't improve in a Madrid side? You think he can't be any better?
Fundamentally, Kepa can never be a world-class keeper.
Oh.
No, he can't. Look at Courtois' build alone. His build alone just instills fear into his opponent. And there are certain angles that he can cut off that Kepa just can't. Naturally, he just can't. And that's the reason why he keeps on conceding a lot of long-range shots. Because there are angles that Courtois would reach that, courtesy of his height, that Kepa just can't. And he's not as athletic enough. He doesn't, maybe he doesn't compensate for that enough with his positioning, with his awareness, with his, how adept he is with the ball at his feet and all that. There's still a number of things that he has to work on when it comes to his fundamentals. And I just don't think he's up there. He would be an okay and good keeper for them, but Real Madrid don't need that. They need a keeper who, if you watch La Liga last season...
Because of the competitions they're playing.
Yeah, and especially, the number of games that they have to play. If you watch La Liga last season, Courtois won them a number of games. And would Kepa be able to step up and do that? Maybe for some games, but I don't think it would be as much as Courtois did. For Militao, there's a reason why after Rüdiger had a monster of a game against Haaland, we had Ancelotti bring him back in the second leg. Look, he's a very important player, very athletic, and he's one of those players where he combines aggression with composure at the same time. I don't know how to explain it, but when it comes to that side of things, I think he's one of the best central defenders in world football. You have Virgil van Dijk, who is composed but not aggressive enough. You've had likes defenders like Pepe, Ramos, who've been too aggressive and not composed.
3FM 92.7.
And because he started out as a right back, he's very athletic, very fast, and strong on the ball as well. So I think he will be a big miss. Rüdiger maybe is a tier lower, but he's also a good replacement for them. But their thing at the back, Alaba, Rüdiger, Nacho, is not enough for all the competitions this season. Vallejo seems to be not good enough, but I think question marks should be raised. ACL is the worst injury that can happen to a footballer.
Of course.
For you to have 2 in 1 week.
Yep.
Before the season started,
the medical team must be investigating.
Yeah, they were praising Pinto before the season started. The fitness trainer. The guy, he has this test that he does that no one can survive. Everyone is panting and all that. Could it be that maybe this time around they are being overstretched? Because 2 ACL injuries, it barely happens in a year. For you to have 2 in the space of 1 week to your defenders or defending players, question marks there.
Okay. Then to League 1. News coming through says that Neymar is on the verge of accepting a deal from Saudi Arabia. You'll be forgiven to question this guy's ambition in life. Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, who have sat on your happiness for so long in Europe, are suddenly out of Europe. Benzema is out of Europe. Lewandowski is not the same player he was 2 seasons ago. And you can't step up. Actually, you are running away from responsibility. At least that's my take on Neymar. It's really interesting to see that he is accepting the deal to Saudi. I don't think it's the best decision for him, but I'm not his advisor, and I don't know better than his advisor.
3FM
so I'll keep quiet on that.
92.7.
Bigger issues there would be PSG drawing against Lorient.
Yeah.
And how Mbappe has been introduced or reintroduced to his teammates by the president of PSG, that Mbappe is committed to PSG and Mbappe is back. I quote him.
Well, he's always been committed, and I think he made it very clear that yes, he's going to play. He's going to play his heart out. He was training. It wasn't like
Ghanaian Mbappe.
No, the point is the guy was ready to play for PSG. All he said was, "I signed a contract and I'm not ready to renew." As simple as that. I'll play the 1 year for you. After that, I go free. And you are telling me...
The criticism against Mbappe there is just how insensitive he is to all the investments that PSG have made in him
over the years. Are PSG being sensitive to all the quality he's given them over the years without them
they haven't stopped him from leaving. They said they will let you go.
Exactly.
Only that.
But don't you think they victimized him by
only that something must compensate for everything we've done for you as well. But and so giving you everything besides the Eiffel Tower.
And he's also saying that
we just want to sell you, but at least get something from everything.
And he's also telling you that I have also given you everything. Let me play my 1 year. After that, I can go. As simple as that. Yes. If you think,
that's fair.
Why isn't it fair? We signed a contract. And you thought that you deserve this from me.
Players,
I gave it.
Modric re-signed a contract and left after 6 months. It happens.
Exactly. He could have probably.
It just notches your value up a little.
That was the decision of Luka Modric.
3FM,
but this is Kylian Mbappe.
No, I'm just saying a lot of players do it.
Exactly. But this is Kylian Mbappe, and he says no.
You are not Sergio Ramos. You are Mbappe.
Yes.
The player that the club has invested the most in ever since it was created as a club.
Ever since he was.
And they are saying that.
Has there been any other player who has given them more goals than what Mbappe has given them?
No.
Exactly.
But that's why something must give for you. At least we must get something to say that we lost you for this.
You lost who?
You are so important to us. You are so valuable to us. We lost you for this.
Yes, in as much as I am valuable to you, I said I am going to give you my full commitment for the final year I am given.
And I said, okay, we don't want it. Go now.
Okay, so let me go.
You say you don't want to go. Didn't you hear that?
Yes, and yes.
So that's so you see, people like those against Mbappe. This is what they don't understand. If he has suitors, this is what they don't understand.
The point is nobody has bid for Mbappe aside those in the Saudis.
But it's a bid.
He said, I'm not going to Saudi Arabia.
Okay, like I see though. Okay.
Exactly. So the point is, if you think that you want the best for me, there are many ways with which you can sit down with me, and then I would agree. And let me play for you and give you the best.
So what's the final decision now?
He's going to play. We don't know whether he's going to sign a contract or renew. No. It's not about. It's about power play here. And this time around, they just allowed the player.
They created their own monster.
Exactly. They allowed the player to bite them.
I think Mbappe.
I like what Mbappe is doing, and I think it's a similar situation why Kudus also is declining, according to reports, declining that move to Brighton, all because he thinks that at a point he would also be.
He hasn't declined. He's just stalling.
Well, definitely, if he hasn't declined, would have signed a contract.
92.
He's declined the offer.
He hasn't.
The contract.
But I think it's a different scenario, really.
Yeah, I think you just want to weigh your options first.
Okay, so now
he knows there are other big teams interested, and he wants to see what the whole range will look like.
Are those concrete enough?
Yes, they are.
One man to go
they are.
Yes,
for example, reports say that Chelsea have established correct contact with Ayers over Kudus. That is enough to turn in.
When was that?
No, but you see, the thing is that there are 30 days left in the market.
Yeah.
Manchester United someone could get an injury and you are hot.
Yeah.
Right now, he has all the cards. Ajax is not a bad side. There's no need to rush to Brighton.
Very good. So
and Brighton would always be there.
Are you saying Kamal didn't rush to Southampton?
Oh, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Although the interesting thing is that Kamal Dean, at a point where he was complaining of being benched at Rennes, had a very similar situation to Jeremy Doku. Doku worked his way back into the team, was given the number 10 jersey this time round, and a couple of months later, Pep Guardiola wants to sign him.
Charlie, it's Pep.
So I think it just gives you an idea of the trajectory of how some decisions can affect your career. So, I mean, I would always want players to take their time and assess their options. And that's what Kudus is doing. There's nothing wrong with that. But on Paris Saint-Germain's
Mbappe issue.
And Mbappe, I think the French club are fighting a lost battle. This battle was lost a couple of seasons ago when they had an offer around 200 million from Real Madrid. And they said no to it.
3FM.
The moment you said no to that,
it's like betting and you see cash out and you say no.
Yeah, look, that was going to be a record fee for a sale in La Liga, in Ligue 1, and probably they could have reinvested. Look, 200 million 2 seasons ago was big money.
Of course.
Probably for now,
they'll get you 4 players. Today we'll get to 2 players.
So they had that chance and then they didn't take it.
Yeah.
They took the risk of renewing Mbappe for a short-term contract, thinking that the project would become attractive, that he would extend again. And now it didn't go so well. It's gone downhill from there. In fact, Paris Saint-Germain have been declining the Champions League, the trophy that Mbappe wants. And now all the cards are back on Mbappe's table. Paris Saint-Germain have absolutely no control. From January, he can start discussing contract terms with the new club. Everyone knows Mbappe wants to play for Madrid. And that's what pisses me off about this whole thing. there has been no secret. Look, it's been public that the player wants to play for Madrid. Why are you fighting him?
Okay.
If you really want, you are accusing him of leaving for free and not making you get the value from him. When you had 200 million, everyone knew he wanted to leave at that time. Why didn't you let him leave? You brought in the French president, all of these influential guys to get into his head, went to the Eiffel Tower, made an announcement.
No, that's what I'm saying. You created your own monster.
Yeah, and now they have to deal with it. Look, in the end, two things will happen. Paris Saint-Germain will move on without Mbappe, and Mbappe will join Real Madrid. Okay. As to how that will happen, no one knows. But what we do know is that Paris Saint-Germain are 10 times worse without Mbappe. And there's a reason why the reports came out this morning. Look,
3FM,
I went to a game yesterday.
92.7.
Oh, Charlie.
1,026 passes attempted. Completed around 900. Pure Enrique ball. 0 clear-cut chances. A couple of shots on target. No penetration. That was Paris Saint-Germain. They know from yesterday's game that if they stay without Mbappe, top 4 in League A will be hard. And so maybe now they are starting to swallow their tanks a bit, swallow their pride, and maybe they'll take Mbappe for 1 year and see what they can do, for maybe subsequent seasons. But they need Mbappe. The performance yesterday just gives him more power, and now he's back in the team mode where the captain armband. Look, they've played this really poorly, and we'll see how things. But I think they've just gone
final submission before we go.
No, I mean I side with my boys on this one. I mean I think that Mbappe, we've already known that Mbappe will join Real Madrid
at some point.
Himself and Florentino Perez have had their issues and all of that. I mean, unless you see the thing is, unless maybe some. By some whatever means, Guardiola puts a bid in front of him and says, "We are going to pay you £1 million or something."
It's like Hazard and Real Madrid. He will always players.
They'll go. Yeah, he will go.
I mean, we had the Bayern CEO speak today.
Yeah,
and he said they had agreed with Kepa 3 days ago. The moment Real came, he's Spanish.
Exactly.
And they knew. They had accepted that he's not going to join them.
Yeah.
They knew he was going to go to Real because it's Real.
Yeah.
Plus he's Spanish. No way you stop a player like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason Chelsea didn't even put up a fight. I mean, it's a loan deal that doesn't make sense, but they didn't even put up a fight.
Yeah. So
he wants to go.
So I think that for Mbappe, he's had a lot of power.
Yeah,
you understand. And like Oreku was saying, he wants to win the Champions League. Now that he's seen Haaland win the Champions League, it's making his blood boil.
I know
even more. And so he would get into that Real Madrid setup, wanting to win the Champions League, and then we'll see how it goes for them. But this season, if Mbappe doesn't play the League A, like Oreku was saying, they won't even get a sniff in the Champions League. Like
if Mbappe doesn't play in the League A, you mean for PSG?
If he doesn't play for PSG, even in that Champions League group stages, they might not make it out. Yeah, they might drop into Europa because
even Dembele won't help.
Because now you're losing Neymar. Dembele is Anthony Martial. Dembele is only a rank up the talents ladder over Anthony Martial. I'm telling you can't rely on Dembele.
Yeah.
Now you're losing Neymar. And you want to lose Mbappe as well. It's not like you're losing Mbappe. He actually wants to play for you for 1 year, and you are trying to say that you don't want him because he disrespected you. Then what do you think you're going to do? It's who? Dembele and Kimpembe and those boys. You want to win the Ligue 1 with them, or you want to go to the Champions League semi-final with them? It's not going to happen.
I looked at their starting lineup yesterday, and I immediately conceded they need Mbappe.
Kindly, someone who was not.
No, who is that guy? Who is that guy?
Oh, he's a prospect,
bro.
No. He was meant to become something big in La Liga.
You want to win the French League, and you see, we've spoken about how the Ligue 1 has been the farmers' league and everything.
Yeah.
But last season, Lens, Lorient, they all reminded us that there can be competitiveness in there.
Yep.
I mean, it goes beyond Monaco and Lyon. Now other teams are springing up, and if you are PSG, you should be beefing up. I mean, the midfield is not so bad. Vitinha and the rest, they're not so bad.
But
it is not a midfield that
if
can
you want
conquer.
to be a world beater, what is Vitinha?
No, but you see,
and that is what I like about Bayern Munich. in as much as they won't buy from the other leagues, within the league, the best players in they'll get them and they'll be playing for them.
Because think about it. Yeah. You saw Dembele in your league in Rennes.
Yes.
You went to Barcelona. Now you've gone to buy him for what, 50 million after someone has used him for 4 or 5 years.
I'm looking at all the players.
Why someone like Camavinga not coming to PSG?
Exactly. I'm looking at all the players coming.
Many leaves the league.
All the players coming out of the French league. It doesn't make sense.
Not at all.
Chouameni, Camavinga. Even most recently, we've seen Chelsea take about 3 players from league.
Yes. Axel Disasi.
How
do you allow Disasi to move away
to PSG?
As much as I don't like Ugo Chukwu, I hear he's like the next Camavinga.
Exactly.
How are you not tapping up these guys? It doesn't make sense.
The strongest sides in every league have always tapped up the best talents.
Of course.
Bayern do it
That's
well.
what City is doing.
City have done it well.
They are getting Paqueta.
Look, the annoying thing about City is they took Calvin Phillips and they don't even play him.
Yes.
So
and that's just the best central midfielders at the time.
Exactly. So that's what PSG needs to be doing.
Mahrez wins the league. Brings
Leicester,
brings
in Spain. Barcelona and Real Madrid will continue to buy the Sociedad and Getafe.
Exactly. They'll buy you and low you out.
Of course. No, come there, you will come. But of course, another edition of Sports Ultras. It's been a pleasure coming your way. My name is Thierry and I've been here with Yafosula B. Kelvin Ouswansa Oreku Ampof. Waniela was also here with us, but she's had to leave. Thank you very much for doing the listening. And for those who watched on Facebook, a big thank you to you as well. Same time next week, we'll catch you.